Good afternoon. Thank you, Conway, for inviting me to be the guest speaker at your annual luncheon. I have a slight correction to make to the title of my talk. I will not be speaking about educating children around the world, but rather how I educated my two girls while traveling the world. We all know that many families move to Cupertino to take advantage of the high-performing schools we have in this district. Incidentally, that's not why we moved to Cupertino, but it has been a wonderful side benefit. Given the strong emphasis in this community on what school your child goes to, it'll probably shock you to find out that my husband and I took our two girls out of school for a full academic year to travel around the world. You'd probably think we're crazy, right? What about school? You'd ask, and actually I got asked that at lunch. How will you educate the girls while traveling through 5 continents and 10 countries over a 6-month period? And what will you do when you get back? These are all good questions, and ones that I got asked by anyone who I told about the trip, especially our family. We have teachers on both sides of the family, including my mother-in-law, who was a kindergarten teacher in Canada. Before I tell you how we educated the girls while traveling, I first want to tell you a bit about why we took them out of school to begin with. From a broad philosophical perspective, both my husband, Anthony, and I believe that a lot of education happens outside of the classroom. We understand how and why we have the school system we have, but we also understand its limitations. While we think school is important, we agree with Mark Twain's quote, "Don't let your boy's schooling get in the way of his education." But in this case, we substitute boys for girls and his for her. For example, we know that the more senses you can incorporate into learning, the more your child will retain what he or she has learned. While the school tries its very best to include hands-on learning, there's only so much that can be done in a classroom of 24 to 34 kids. We also know that there are many different ways of learning and many types of intelligences. And learning from books is just one of those types and one of those intelligences. Finally, from a long-term, big-picture perspective, Anthony and I thought that missing kindergarten in grade 3 was not such a big deal. The time we have exploring the world together as a family was more important to us. That was a broad framework within which we were evaluating whether or not we should take our girls out of school for a year. In a more practical sense, I looked at our particular situation and weighed the pros and cons of having the girls miss a full academic year. For my youngest daughter, Amy, it was an easy decision. She would be missing kindergarten, which in the state of California is an optional school year. Amy is a December baby and a second child, meaning she would be one of the oldest in her class, and she would have the advantage of learning from her older sister. Amy had attended Villa Montessori preschool for 2 years and also had an enriching environment at home. I think it was actually a kindergarten teacher who commented that our playroom looked like a classroom, a lot messier though. Personality-wise, Amy enjoyed academics, and as someone who wanted to copy her older sister, she would often ask me for homework to do. She had no problem working independently in workbooks. Having had a child already go through kindergarten at Regnart, I was familiar with the materials they covered. I was confident that Amy would be just fine if she skipped kindergarten, but sought the feedback of her Villa teachers just to be sure. They agreed with my assessment. As for my eldest daughter, Hannah, it was a bit more complicated and required more thought and consideration. Hannah was a firstborn and had no siblings to intuitively learn from. Being an August baby, she was typically the youngest in her class. I was also less familiar with the grade 3 curriculum, not having had a child go through it yet. Personality-wise, Hannah has an aversion to school and authority. She's not always the most motivated learner, unless it's a subject that interests her, like art, and that she's naturally good at. Prior to kindergarten, Hannah had been diagnosed with selective mutism, meaning that school caused her such anxiety she literally couldn't speak in the classroom, even though she could speak just fine at home, where she was more comfortable. While Hannah had made some progress, being more comfortable in the classroom in kindergarten and grade 1, there was not as much progress as I hoped for in grade 2. My thinking with her was that she would learn so much more outside of the classroom with her family, where her anxiety was lower. At age 8, I thought Hannah was the perfect age to travel, because kids absorb and remember so much more at that age. They are also more independent than a younger child and not as attached to their friends as an older child. By having this break, I was hoping that Hannah would come back to school better prepared for the longer school day and the higher workload that comes with grade 4. Lastly, I had to consider whether there would still be a spot for us at their home school. Being gone for 6 months would mean that we would lose our spot in the district and have to re-enroll upon our return. I wasn't too worried though, because I knew Regnard was a low enrollment school and was an overflow school for Lincoln. That's why we did it. Now I'll cover how we educated our girls while traveling. In the planning phase of the trip, I researched various online and homeschool curricula. I also asked the school what was covered in grade 3, and I researched how other traveling families address education. And this family, they've been traveling for about 4 years and they have 4 kids, so they had a lot of good insights. In the end, I decided not to worry about it too much, because after all, the trip was a huge part of their education. I wanted to break free of school routines, not recreate them on the road. I focused on the basics, mainly reading, math, and to a lesser extent, writing. I bought the Right Start Math program for each girl, complete with manipulative. I subscribed to Rizk, an online reading program used by Regnard. I bought the Printing Without Tears workbooks for Amy and the Cursive Writing Without Tears workbooks for Hannah. I also bought daily paragraph editing for Hannah and a few other workbooks for Amy. I started homeschooling on our summer break so we wouldn't have as much schoolwork to do while we were traveling. I knew the school covered Ohlone Indians in grade 3, so we took out books about them from the Cupertino Library before we left. On September 1st, 2015, when the time came to leave for our travels, I took the math books and some manipulatives, iPads to do Rizk, Kindles and magazines for leisure reading, and blank notebooks for journal writing. Sometimes the girls had to do their lessons on a plane, in a train, or whatever house, apartment, or hotel room we were staying in. Sometimes they would go a whole week without doing schoolwork, because after all, CUSD kids get a week off in November, December, January, February, and April. In fact, they have a week off next week, along with various other PD days and shortened school days for school conferences. For the most part, the schoolwork was manageable, and it got done even when the girls didn't want to do it. The biggest challenge was getting internet access to use Rizk. Sometimes we had access, but not at a fast enough speed to load the books in a timely manner. The girls actually finished their math books, all 140 lessons, on the 5th last day of our trip. They were rewarded with an extra large Kinder Surprise, something you can't get in the US. That is how we covered their formal education. Now let's talk about the real-world education Hannah and Amy received while traveling. For language arts, Hannah and Amy were given children's books written by a couple of our Airbnb hosts in New Zealand, some of whom were former teachers. They read informational texts at various places we visited, such as those along the Hermanus Coastline Boardwalk in South Africa, and the one at the viewpoint of the Blue Lakes in Aoraki Mount Cook in New Zealand. They listened to the various guides we hired, like the ones in Jantar Mantar in India and the Pantheon in Italy. For geography, Hannah and Amy visited 10 countries on 5 continents, including Peru and Brazil in South America, South Africa and Kenya in Africa, Australia, New Zealand, which the girls learned was part of a mostly submerged continent called Zambia, Malaysia, Thailand, and India in Asia, and Italy in Europe. Although technically we didn't go to Antarctica, the girls got a sense of it from the International Antarctic Center in Christchurch, New Zealand. They crossed different time zones, hemispheres, climates, and landscapes. We also showed them how close to the equator they were in Kenya. For history, Hannah and Amy learned about different civilizations, such as the Incas, the Maori, and the Romans. They visited a number of cultural and natural UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including in Peru, the historic center of Lima and the city of Cusco, in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, landscapes between the mountain and the seas, and Iguazu National Park, in South Africa, the Cape Floral Region Protected Area, in Kenya, the Kenyan Lake System in the Great Rift Valley, in Australia, the Sydney Opera House, in Malaysia, Gunung Buloh National Park, in India, the Kitab Minar and its monuments, the Agra Fort, the Taj Mahal, Fatehpur Sikri, Keoladea National Park, and the Jantar Mantar. And in Italy, the historic centers of Rome, Florence, and Siena, as well as the archaeological areas of Pompeii and Herculaneum, and in the Holy See, the Vatican City. We also visited a Chinese history museum in Malaysia. For global community and culture, Hannah and Amy saw cultural performances in New Zealand, Malaysia, and India. They were exposed to people of all different colors, who spoke different languages, and practiced different religions. The girls heard the call to prayer of the Muslims, saw the reclining and emerald Buddha, went to the Batu Caves, the largest Hindu shrine outside of India, and lit candles in more than one Catholic church. In math, Hannah and Amy learned firsthand about currencies and exchange rates. We gave them the equivalent of US $20 in each country we went to. In Brazil, that meant they received roughly 60 real. In Kenya, it was equivalent to 2060 shillings, and in Australia, it was about 26 Australian dollars. In this picture, Amy is learning that a nightgown costs 199 baht in Bangkok, Thailand, which is just under US $6. The girls also had a better sense of distance and speed, especially when comparing the trains of South Africa to an Italian train. For science, Hannah and Amy walked on lava fields, saw mountains, geysers, rainforests, caves, lakes, and oceans. They saw and held a variety of bugs and insects, reptiles, birds, and animals, both in zoos, aquariums, and in their natural habitats. One of the most anticipated parts of the trip was when Hannah got to see her favorite animal, the elephant, up close. To hear their trumpets and rumbles, and to observe that many ways they use their trumps is just something you can't get from books or at the zoo. For physical education, the girls played on numerous playgrounds, went on hikes, and went swimming in pools and oceans. For music, the girls plucked at a piano in Peru, tried instruments in Malaysia, saw a Kathakali performance and a Bollywood demonstration in India, and an opera from Italy. For art, they met Peruvian and Indian artists, were exposed to street art and stained glass in Brazil, saw a wealth of art in Thailand, India, Italy, and the Vatican City. In addition, Hannah and Amy went to a Thai cooking school, a gladiator school, a science museum, as well as museums about minerals, physics, zoology, and anthropology. They visited a blueberry farm, a Parmesan cheese writing. I tried to have the girls keep a journal, but wasn't consistent in having them write it. When we returned on March 1st, 2016, I kept the girls home until the new academic year began in August. They continued with their math and reading, and I put Amy back into gymnastics. I wasn't sure how the integration to Ragnar would go come August, so was a bit anxious when the new academic year finally started. For Amy, this would be her first year at Ragnar. Luckily, she already knew some other grade 1 students at the school. Aside from some health issues unrelated to our travels, Amy adjusted well, made friends in her class quickly, and is able to keep up with the curriculum. For Hannah, it couldn't have gone any better. She picked up right where she left off with her friends, was speaking in class and raising her hand to give answers, which never happened before. She adopted and adjusted well to grade 4 routines and workload. Hannah still has challenges related to social anxiety and doing work she doesn't want to do, but the school and her teacher are very supportive of her. Hannah has had to catch up on keyboarding since I didn't realize that that was an area they covered in grade 3. To remedy that, we simply bought her the Keyboarding Without Tears program, which she does in addition to the typing club at school. One of the biggest benefits I see from the trip is the excitement the girls have when they come across a place they visited in their school. It makes the connection to what they're learning that much stronger. For me though, an even more important benefit is the soft skills the girls learn simply by being in new places and having new experiences. Hannah and Amy had to be very adaptable because they never knew what kind of bed they would be sleeping in or what type of food they would be eating. They learned to be comfortable in new situations like riding a subway, a longboat, bicycle rickshaw, or auto rickshaw. The girls learned to be patient in long airport lines and learned how to adjust when our train got canceled. Most importantly, Hannah and Amy learned that there are kind, friendly people in every country we went to, and that they can make friends easily no matter where they went. It is for these reasons I can unequivocally say that taking Hannah and Amy out of school for a year to travel with their family is one of the best decisions we've ever made. Thank you. If you want to learn more about our trip, I blog about it at natureadventuresblog.com. I'm still writing new articles about the trip. I'm also writing a series of children's books based on the trip, one for each country that we visited, and I published the first one in November. Hannah and Amy go to Peru. I have copies for sale here today if you are interested. Thank you.
What a great personal educational story. And thank you for sharing with us. And I have one of Sabrina's books, and she will sign it if you're interested by anyone out there. We have, for appreciation, we got a little science project for you with Hannah and Amy. This is, you can plant your own herbs and show it how it grows to the girls. So thank you very much. You like movies, girls? Yeah, we have 4 movie tickets for the full-hand family to go and small drinks for you to enjoy in movie theaters. So thank you very much, Anthony, Hannah, and Amy, and Sabrina. Enjoy.